recording now. Yay! Technology win.
Great.
Okay.
Put the volume up though. The volume is all the way down.
So I'll let you take the floor, and you can, like, oh my goodness. I hate technology. This is, oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, so I'll just let you go right ahead.
Well, I guess I'm just looking at your list of questions that you sent, and oops, did you go so far?
No, I don't think so. I think it's technology again.
Oh, okay, because your picture just got really tiny. Okay, well, maybe I could start with maybe how I got started.
That'd be great.
Illustrator. Well, when I started, I didn't know what illustrators were. I had no idea what it was. I knew that I had a grandfather who was what they called a commercial artist, and I was very inspired by the fact that he had this great studio and all these great supplies, and he was always in there, and he was very happy. And I thought, this is just a very cool way to live. And then when I got older, I realized that, maybe this could be like a job that I would enjoy. And so I started, I took illustration, I took graphic design, and then I ended up getting a job in graphic design while I was in school. So that was really fun to be able to work and also work on my own stuff. And that was like just amazing. And that was before computers happened. So it was quite a while ago. And then I ended up going, well, I really like the illustration part. I just want to work on my characters, and I love storytelling. And then I said, all right, I'm just going to take the leap and just be a freelance illustrator. And that's what I've been doing ever since. So, and it was very scary because you are totally independent. Well, I was totally independent. And I had to, I took business classes. I took a ton of business classes because I wanted to think of myself as a business. And working from home, I had my area over at this part of my studio, which was all my business stuff, and then my creative side on the other side. I still have that, in fact. Where we were sitting here is where I have you can see my tablet. Oh, there's Hala, the kitty. My tablet, and I have tape around the edges because she keeps chewing on it to get my attention. So, so over here is where my digital stuff is. And there's a giant art table beside me here because I work traditionally. Whatever the job takes, I use whatever art supplies I have. I have just about everything in this room. And then at the far end of my studio, I still have the business part of it. So I kind of separate myself, and I go over there and I go, okay, I got to do all my mailings. I've got to do all the stuff that you do for any business, and try to detach myself from the work because you get really attached to it. I'm sure you guys know what I mean. It gets, this is your children kind of when you're working on a project, especially when you spent months and months working on a project. So that's sort of how I manage my work stuff. And it just, actually, I really didn't know a lot when I started. I was completely naive. In some ways, that was good because I had no fear, had absolutely no fear. I just figured it would just work. I'm glad, actually. I think if I had heard stories about people struggling, I think I would have been scared. So now, looking back, I'm like, I'm kind of glad I didn't know because, it worked out really well. And I just kept at it. I just kept sending out stuff no matter what, And it's amazing what happens when you do that. So I don't know, did you have any questions about that? I mean, you guys are all seniors probably in illustration or all over the place?
We're kind of like an all over the place group. So we just kind of take people in.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Oh, Sam has a question.
Should I yell?
Oh, no,
yeah.
wrong Sam. Oh, never mind.
You go first. Alright, should I yell?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, how much did the business classes help you with freelancing?
I took accounting classes because I set my business up just like any business. And then back then we didn't take business illustration or any of that stuff in school. No one ever talked about business in the art when I was going. So I took accounting classes, and I learned I took bookkeeping classes. I should say that my parents were in the arts and my grandparents were in the arts. And I saw how really good they were at the art part, but they really sucked at the business part. And I often did that for them. to help, that they didn't want to do with it. So I would help them with it and, pay bills and deal with clients and stuff. And then I thought, I really need to know how to do this really well. So I took bookkeeping, and I set up everything up and I had inventory. I looked at my work as inventory because you have to separate yourself from your babies, and it's inventory. And then just send out work. I figured out what it is I really want to do. And I was kind of, my style really fits in with children's books and certain genres. So I just said, that's what I'm going to do. And I just kept sending stuff and making inventory and never look back kind of thing. I said, just like a business. And it's hard sometimes to do that, but it really worked for me. I'm glad I did it. And now I'm so happy. I had business of illustration classes when I went to graduate school, and I hope that we can do that sooner. You guys are probably getting it now in undergraduate, right? Learning a little bit about the marketing and how to do all those kinds of things, because it really, really helps a lot.
Yeah, they go over that in our senior year. We have actually business class with Charlie. So.
Oh, really? Oh, well, Charlie knows. He was in the same classes. Yeah, it's great. He knows all the great stuff. So that's really good. And it's really true. I know you probably have heard that that whatever you put in your portfolio, whatever you show people, you'll get jobs because of that. And I used to think that, no, nobody's really looking at me. No one's really noticing me. That's not true. I had a little illustration that I just loved that I just sent out to everybody, when I was in the early days. And somebody saw that little picture like 2 years later, and I got a 9-book contract out of that. And I was so glad that they picked that picture, because if they had picked another picture that I didn't really enjoy so much, I might have been stuck doing that, even though it's a job, but they pick stuff that, they see, right? So it's really important to really show what you really love to do and what you really want to get into. So I learned that's really true. It's not just something that people say. It's really, really true. And you keep doing that over your career. You'll get there's another thing that you may fall in love with, part with your career and go, well, I want to switch gears and kind of do that. And then, show them what you're doing, show them your thoughts, and you'll be astonished that people notice and see it, and things happen that you would never expect, I don't know, I'm kind of shy too about my work, So it's much easier now with the internet. We can do our website. We can put everything out there. You don't have to go in person now like you used to, or it's a little bit easier, so you can show stuff, and then you can talk about your work in third person, so it feels more, At least that was helpful for me too. Anyways, hope that's making sense. Is anybody here interested in children's books or in that particular genre? Yeah. It's a great field. One of the things that I like about it the most is that people you work with, because the art directors and editors, a lot of times you'll work with editors, and not necessarily an art director, but the editor. And you're working with people who love children's books. They love the artwork. They love the stuff just as much as you do. So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a nice work environment to have. And then, like everything, it's you develop really good relationships with people, and they trust you, and they know that you'll get the job done that they want and on time and all that. And they know you, and you just get more work because of that. So that's a nice part of the industry that I like. Also, what it helped me get started too is belonging to some of the organizations, like the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators is a group that just is about the industry of children's books. And they have all the information you ever want to know to be an insider on the industry. And I joined that group in the 80s, and I didn't even live in the United States. And in fact, they have chapters all over the world. And I joined, and it helped me become an insider in the industry much quicker than if I had been trying to figure it out on my own. And then I went to conferences. I spoke at conferences later on, which was blow me away. And I got to meet a lot of the people that I had been writing to, for years, sending my stuff out.